I don't know of anybody who's more fun to quote, and so there's so many things he said, of course, but I think maybe my favorite line of his is in your book. An actress who had very little space between the chin and here, and Coward became exasperated one day and said, "I'll wring your neck if you had one.
If you had
I'd wring
one.
your neck if you had one." He got it right the first time, of course. Is it fair to say who that was, or should we...
That's very unfair. Very unfair.
Because you may still not have a neck.
Other lovely ones that he would say, you see, merciless, but on the nose so that you had to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
We would talk about a famous actress whose husband left her, and I said, you know, Noli, unhappiness is sitting around her like a smell. And he said, worse than armpits, dear, worse than armpits.
I don't know of anybody who's more fun to quote, and so there's so many things he said, of course, but I think maybe my favorite line of his is in your book. An actress who had very little space between the chin and here, and Coward became exasperated one day and said, "I'll wring your neck if you had one. I'd wring your neck if you had one." He got it right the first time, of course. Is it fair to say who that was, or should we...
That's very unfair. Very unfair,
because you may still not have a neck.
Other lovely ones that he would say, you see, merciless, but on the nose so that you had to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
We would talk about a famous actress whose husband left her, and I said, you know, Noli, unhappiness is sitting around her like a smell. And he said, worse than armpits, dear, worse than armpits. The smell of unhappiness.
Do you think you could describe what I guess was his last public appearance, and it was really kind of a private appearance with very good friends?
I thought you meant theatrical, where I was happy enough to play with him.
Oh,
no, that was London.
That's right, you were in a play with...
Yeah. Suite in 3 keys we played, and he was then beginning to fail. However, he lived, I think, another 5 years. And then his agent, Swifty Lazar, gave a party. From all over the world, people flew in to honor Noel. Noel had been in a wheelchair for months because he refused to walk. He refused to give up smoking 40 cigarettes a day. He just refused to alter his lifestyle. He said, my dear, if only I had known how lovely it is to live in a wheelchair, I would have done it years ago. Everybody does things for me, and I get wheeled up to the ramp, to the plane, and wheeled into the theater. Why should I bother?
Was that simply putting a good face on it and not wanting his friends to feel...
And then, at this party, the wheelchair was not in sight. He was sitting, and everybody else, naturally, had to kneel to embrace him. They had to kneel to get to his height.
Oh, yeah.
And that seemed to me absolutely apt. One should kneel and pay homage. And, oh, goodness, I cannot name you the people that... It's much easier to say who was not at the party. All that was great in the world of entertainment.
Well, just for example, I remember you said that as he went to sit... At one point, Laurence Olivier pushed the piano
yes, well,
stool.
that was, you see, the payoff, because there was Bacharach and Lerner and Lowe singing for him at the piano, because all his life it was Noel who was entertaining. And his eagle eye would spy a piano and say the tune. Mine wasn't. He was very upset. And he would immediately sit down and play and sing. Loved it. But that evening, of course, it was 3 months before his death, they were entertaining him. And suddenly he got up and waddled like a toy that had been wound up toward the piano. And Laurence Olivier pushed the chair under him because he was unaware that he would otherwise have sat on the floor. He sat on the piano. And he looked at all of us, and he sang the most famous song of his, out of Bittersweet, but only the last. We all said, my God, can he still play? And he played a few chords, and then he sang, I believe that since my life began, the most I've had is just... He looked at all of us and he said, a talent to amuse. Hey ho, if love were all... Remember, out of Bittersweet. So I assure you, we were all crying buckets. All I've had is just the talent to amuse.
Got to me now when you sang it.
Well, my splendid voice. Cracking.
And he was dead within...
3 months later, he was dead.
Yeah.
an unforgettable person. A marvelous thing happened during the war. Remember he showed me the telegram? I think I wrote about it. When Winston Churchill flew to see Roosevelt, one of those knotty problems of the Allies, he, Noel Coward, received a telegram which he treasured, which said something like, "Dear Noel, what is the beginning of the second verse of Mad Dogs and Englishmen?" Stop. It is important. Stop. A question of a bet. Stop. Roosevelt and Churchill. And Mad Dogs and Englishmen, I don't know whether you know, is one of his most famous songs. Mad Dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun, you see. And those two old boys, instead
in the middle of the Yalta Conference or something,
have
we had to
been
know the
sitting
answer.
there singing Mad Dogs and Englishmen.